Hey guys, it's Riana from the Pinson Public Library. Today I just wanted to share with y'all one of my favorite places to find recipes online, and it's called Skinny Taste by Gina Homolka. She does also have some cookbooks, which I have one of, but today I really just wanted to focus on making a couple recipes from her food blog, which is also super great. It's got so many recipes and it's set up in a really user-friendly way where you can like look up things by certain labels. So if you have a certain type of diet you're trying to stick to, like paleo, keto, low carb, gluten-free, dairy-free, all kinds of stuff like that. Another great thing that I really love about Skinny Taste is that in both her books and on her food blog, she always includes all the nutrition information. So like calories, fat content, sugar, salt, all that kind of stuff for every single recipe, and like the serving size for each one, and really focuses on using like a lot of whole ingredients and more simplified recipes. So you really get very like flavorful meals, but they're actually a lot healthier for you, which I think we could all kind of appreciate that. So anyway, I hope after watching this video, you guys will take a look at her website and maybe at some point take a look at some of her books.
For now, let's take a look at making our first Skinny Taste recipe, Italian beef and spinach meatballs. Alright, so we're just going to start with putting our 2 pieces of bread in our bowl, and then we're just going to put enough milk, or you can also use water on this part to get the bread moist, and then we're going to start crumbling it up. Here I used honey wheat bread. The recipe calls for whole wheat, but you can really just use whatever bread you want. And if you're trying to go for gluten-free, you can choose a gluten-free bread. All right, now that we've gotten all of our bread crumbled up, we're gonna start adding our other ingredients. So first is our lean ground beef, and then we have some frozen chopped spinach, which has been defrosted and drained. People have different ways of draining their spinach. I kind of feel like the best way that works for me is just getting a colander and putting your spinach in, and then just kind of draining it handful by handful just to get out all that excess liquid. Next, we're going to take our Parmesan cheese. Then we've got our fresh parsley, and I really do suggest fresh. It makes a big flavor difference over dried parsley. And hey, if you grow it, even better. Next, we're going to add some minced garlic, some pepper, and some salt, and that is it. Now we're just going to mix everything together, and honestly, best way to do that is hands. So now we're just going to take our 1/4 cup measure and a cutting board or something to put your meatballs on, and we're just going to start scooping it up into our measuring cup. They actually need to be about the size of 1/8 of a cup though, so we're just going to take this after we get it filled up and then just split it in half, and then you're just going to round these out until all your mixture is gone. I got a total of 24 meatballs out of mine. Now that we've got our meatballs made, we can start on the sauce. So we're gonna add some smashed garlic to a pan and get that browned. Then we can add our tomato sauce. Some pepper and some salt. Now we can just stir everything together. And then we're going to add our half of an onion, and you don't even have to cut it up or anything. We're just going to stick it right in there. And we're going to put our lid on top of that and let it simmer while we cook our meatballs. Now I will say, if you have too much spinach in any one meatball, it's going to cause it to start kind of falling apart while you cook, so just make sure that your mixture is mixed together really well. Now we can add our meatballs to our sauce and let it simmer one more time. And there we have it. Now we can just take out our onion that we left in earlier. And give it a final stir. And there we go. We have our Italian beef and spinach meatballs served over pasta. And I also served mine with some cheesy breadsticks that I found in the grocery bakery. Our next recipe is a skillet mixed berry buttermilk cobbler. To get started on our berry filling, we're going to combine some cornstarch, cinnamon, salt, and then we're just gonna whisk everything together. Now we can go ahead and add in our berries. I'm gonna start with doing just half and then mix it a little bit and then add in our other half. Then we'll add some honey, fresh lemon juice, lemon zest, and some vanilla extract. Then we'll mix it again and pour it into our skillet. If you don't have a 10-inch skillet, you can also use a pie dish. Then it's into the oven. Now we'll combine our dry ingredients. This is half all-purpose flour and half whole wheat flour, but if you don't have any whole wheat flour, you can always just do like a full half cup of all-purpose flour. Next we have baking powder, baking soda, sugar, and some salt. And now we'll just whisk everything together. Now we're gonna add our butter, and it is very important for it to be chilled because we don't want it to start melting until it's actually in the oven, because that's going to release steam and actually help in our leavening process for our buttermilk topping. Then we'll just start cutting our butter into our dry mixture. I'm doing it here with 2 knives, but you can also use a pastry cutter if you have that. Another way we can cut in is by using a fork. But basically you just want to keep going until your butter is about the size of pebbles. Here I'm mixing together our buttermilk and our oil, and then we're just gonna put that in with our dry ingredients. And we'll mix it all together just until everything is moist. We don't want to overmix. And now it's time for our berry filling to come out, and it looks nice and bubbly. So now we're just going to start putting our topping onto our cobbler. And you can just kind of spread it around, for this is not really meant to cover the whole top of the cobbler. And now it's time to go back into the oven for the last time. Our oven just went off, so we're taking it out now. It's got a beautiful golden crust on it, and it is done. I'm just going to add some garnish to the top of mine with some fresh raspberries and some powdered sugar. And there we have our Skillet mixed berry buttermilk cobbler. And if you can have dairy, feel free to try some whipped topping or ice cream with it. Thank you guys for coming into the kitchen with me. I really love both of these recipes. The meatballs were super flavorful, and even my husband, who normally does not like meatballs at all, was raving about them. So I think that definitely says something. And the cobbler was really simple and delicious. I will just mention that the reason why the crust on mine looks a little bit more of a darker honey color than on the recipe for the website is that I did not have the white whole wheat flour, but I did have regular whole wheat flour, which is a brown color, so that's why it came out a slightly darker color. I can't wait to try even more Skinny Taste recipes, and I hope you guys will too. But for now, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.